Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Imola, San Marino, however you want. A 15.3 is the lap time that has just been set by the championship leader, the reigning champion, the triple world champion Zingy in the AlphaTauri car. Lovely stuff to start the session, as that is a 15.7 there for Eager Pro. Nice way to start the stream. Welcome everyone. We're here for the 6th round of the World Championship, the 6th round of the LSI F1 22 Championships, of course held in the F1 22 game. We had a couple new drivers on the grid, and Andrews returns this time in Mercedes and as a permanent driver. Now we have two drivers in that Mercedes car ready for title fights potentially. That's going to be something to watch for sure. We have, of course, Rillaton, JJ Benjamin, all reserve drivers today, so great to see them back. And Jordi in P11 for McLaren. They're driving permanently for McLaren. Brand new driver. Going to be good to see what they've got to show us. They could be competitive. That is Luke doing a 15.6, a tenth quicker than Eager Pro. Just a 3 tenths away from Zingy. We've still got a long way to go, as you just saw. 13 minutes left on that clock. Let's see what Nifajan can do. Very, very tough start to the season as they go very loosey-goosey over that curb. We saw their pace in Japan. It was absolutely insane. Unfortunately, bit of a mishap, didn't make it go to plan, but that is a brilliant lap time there to compete with Zingy. Not enough just to get ahead, but very, very close. The pressure is on, and once again, both AlphaTauris are topping the times. So pretty good stuff for those guys. Could we see another front row lockout for the home team? Of course, AlphaTauri being an Italian brand, Scuderia Toro Rosso, you know, Italian. It is, yes. Anyway, we're going to go and see if we can find an onboard with anybody. Cohen, they have had a bit of a connection issue, but they rejoined the session, so they're going to be good to go as they go through turn 7, and it's unfortunately a little bit too twitchy on the rotation. Very, very difficult corner to get right. You go so low down on the speed, you have to build it all up again. And yeah, easily done there for Cohen. They've got a long way to go. And actually, I think Cohen's used to driving medium traction control. So no assist except from racing line in the corners in the F1 tier, which does mean it's going to be pretty difficult, but still great practice regardless. Cohen is going to be in for something pretty good, I'm sure. We'll have to wait and see. Jordi is on another lap, it seems, so going for it again. Let's see what they can get done here as they exit turn 1, 2, and 3 into 4, 5, and 6. Looks pretty good for now. Into 7 through the hairpin. Are they going to keep it on track? They do keep it on track, getting to the outside of the curb, going to the left-hand side to bring it back. Open up the next corner. Brilliant stuff right here, keeping it on the limit as you get to the exit. That's what you're going to do around this circuit. Very easy to bottom out into the downhill, uphill section. And now we head to the tightest chicane in all mankind. Maybe not. Baku is potentially one of the tightest chicanes, but it is what it is. That is a very, very good job so far. Let's see if they're going to be able to compete on 2-lap-old tyres as they come into the final few corners. Very easy to lock up as it goes downhill, but they managed to keep it tidy. Myself, I struggle on that corner. They've done a good job to do so. That is DRS open, and across the line, that'll be a 15.5, and exactly a tenth behind Nifo. Very, very, very good stuff, and an epic way to start the stream. How about that? So, 10 minutes on the clock. We're going to get some data up on the screen. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to set it up beforehand, but that is now sorted. So thank you for your patience there. We're all good to go for now. We have both P1 and P2 still in the pit lane. Actually, one of the AlphaTauris is out. That's Zingy on his way, and the other AlphaTauri of Nifajan is also on their way. We have Eager Pro about to start a lap. Japan, it was a pretty good circuit for them in the past. Unfortunately, last week they had some struggles, which did see them finish the race in last. They still scored a point at least, but not a way we wanted to end that race for Eager Pro. Now, let's see if we can start this new race with some better momentum. Currently sitting P5, pretty good. It's very, very difficult to overtake on this circuit, and knowing Eager Pro with his fairly low downforce setups, he should be able to be pretty difficult to overtake, because you got that one main overtaking opportunity, which is down the start finish straight. If he can outrun people on that straight, then it's going to be very difficult for anybody to get past. Is it the right setup? We don't know. Time will tell, and then we'll find out, of course. Currently, as they go through Sector 2, they head towards Sector 3. We'll watch on board, see how tidy the downhill uphill section is. I think it's Aqua Minerale, if I'm saying that right. And up the hill, what's it going to be as we cross the Delta line? It's up by 2/10. That will put them fighting for a P3 position if they can secure a final good sector. Time will tell. Literally, time will tell. Into the final few corners now. Into turn 17, 18, and of course you've got a slight kink, which is classed as turn 19. DRS available and across the line, and it will be a P3 to the .4s there for Eager Pro. Lovely stuff. Awesome way to get their second lap in. That is Zingy going fairly slowly. So maybe they've bottled the first few corners. They've already backed off. Their teammate is sending it through to try and improve here. They're pretty much dead on in the first sector. Still got 2/3 of the lap to go, but no, makes a slight mistake. That could cost them quite a bit. We're still going to watch on board with the AlphaTauri car. That was Sidewinder. I don't know if it was a mistake or if they were just letting the Aston go through. I don't quite know. Up the hill now, across the Delta line. What's the current time going to be? Are they going to try and get a bit of a tow? No, they're not. Up by a 10th now. Is it going to be enough, though? It would be enough to get to pole position as of now, but they need a little bit more time if they really want to try and defend that position. 7 minutes on the clock. Round the final few corners we go. Pushing it to the limits, almost dipping wheels into the grass. Across the line. That's up, but not enough. A 3.69 there. Oh, what a shame. They just lost a little bit too much in that final sector. Their teammate will now go through. Zingy is going for a second push lap as he backed off pretty early on. He had a lot of ERS and he could immediately go again. Not going to waste any time. He'll probably still have enough time to go into the pit lane and get another fresh set of tyres on, but he's going to be quite tight, to be honest. Further down the order, of course, we had Eager Pro set that lap recently. Geordie in the pit lane going to be coming out some point soon, as that is Luke going to a P1, a 15.289. Brilliant stuff. Zingy, the pressure's on a little bit more now. I was going to mention his name, but he's just improved, so he's topping the times. And Andrews, the other Mercedes, going up to P5 there. These guys are going to be looking to try and challenge for some good points today. Of course, both AlphaTauris have had a pretty strong start to the season. That was a car slightly in the way, but not really too much, hopefully. But now, through the final few corners, very close to track limits there for Zingy. That was absolutely insane. Across the line, what's it going to be? It's going to be just under half a tenth improvement. They're not going to get to the .2s yet. And that's 5 minutes on the clock for them to go in and come back out for one final run. We've got lots of people in the pit lane waiting to go for one final time. And Andrews has already set their lap for now. We've got Geordie on their way out to set what will be their second lap time. I say second lap time. It's actually going to be their third. But their second run. But maybe their final as well. I don't think they're going to get enough time to go back in here. If they did, they'd have to just go for quite a few push laps in a row, which is, of course, their flying lap and their in lap. But they're really taking their time to warm up these tyres. They've got a lot of space behind. They can do this if they want to. And to be honest, it's a pretty good idea. It's quite hard in this game to warm up the tyres to get them to a good temperature. So it's not a bad idea. They've got a car going slowly up ahead. I think they're trying to move out the way, unless that was a bit of a moment. But they carry on now, and Geordie will just keep warming up these tyres, and then they'll be good to go. Is that the AlphaTauri of Zingy, who is going to be going into the pit lane now. Warming up the tyres for the final time, and then we will watch on board with Geordie as he goes for what will be his final run, dipping a few tyres in the grass there. 4 minutes left on the clock, everybody waiting to go out one final time. You've got Sidewinder Benjamin going out a little bit earlier than usual. Here we go, on board with the McLaren now. DRS is open, and the clock starts. Okay, what can we get here? P6 at the moment. They want to jump up a little bit more. It's very difficult to overtake here. Safety car might come out as well. Always remember that. That's going to be interesting. Very tidy first few corners. Lovely stuff there from the McLaren driver into the next complex. Nice amount. Very, very twitchy on the exit, however. Up by a little bit of time here. Through 7. Up 8 into 9 and 10. How's 9 and 10 going to go for them here? Very, very tidy into 11, 12 and 13, of course. Once again, very smooth on the exit, however, so twitchy. Very, very twitchy. Up by just under half a tenth. Again, it seems to be that the improvements from pretty much all drivers are very, very slight per lap. And now we get to the final sector of the circuit. Once again, try and keep it tidy on the exits here, and they might be good to go. Let's see what they can do at the final corner. DRS available. Keep it tight to the inside as much as you can. Get that apex. And that is 4 tenths in that final sector. So their first and second sector were pretty good. Pretty good. And that puts them up. I didn't realize that they had that much of a terrible bad... I say terrible. It wasn't exactly terrible, was it? That much of a problem in that final sector. They've gone and found 2 tenths over Luke. That is a very nice job. Almost 5 tenths on the whole lap, as we saw. Of course, 4 tenths it was. Just over. That is absolutely incredible. 2 minutes left on the clock. It's a fairly short lap, but they're leaving it quite late, a lot of these drivers. They've got to be careful. I don't know if Nifo's going to get out on time, to be honest. They've got a fair bit of work to do and a lot of traffic to deal with. EagerPro sits in P5. They're going out for their final run. They're not, well, they shouldn't get any traffic here. They do have a couple cars ahead who are going a little bit slowly compared to them, but there should be plenty of space for them to move out the way. The Aston Martin will clear the Red Bull here as they go up the mini straight. They've got 2 cars ahead who probably have to do something to get out the way by the time the Aston does make it to them. But no, unfortunately, it will not happen. EagerPro is round as they push the limits. They've found the limit and they've gone over the limit there. EagerPro will stay in P5 unless they can recharge that battery and get one final run in. We'll have to wait and see, of course, as they do go off track to allow the AlphaTauri to go through. Of course, Zingy, as he's about to start his final lap of the session, he needs 3 tenths to get that pole position. Geordie will not be able to improve, so it is going to be between the rest of the grid. The rest of the grid. Zingy now going down the start-finish straight. He's got one final attempt to get this tidy lap. Pole position is pretty much what you want. P2, P3 isn't too bad either. So, you know, maybe wants to stay in. I'd say P2 over P3. The F1 game, it's not quite like realistic grid positions. I think you'll want a P2. Unless you can really secure an amazing lap, then you might be able to go for a good start on pole position. Obviously, pole position is always nice. That is Sidewinder retiring early in the pit lane. They don't feel like they can set another lap time, and they don't think they can improve. Zingy, though, has the final sector to go once they cross the line. Is it going to be looking like a challenge for pole position? No. But Geordie found all his time in that final sector. Maybe Zingy can do it as well. Luke is going to be on the lap as well in the final few corners. The Ferrari, I believe, is that JJ will also be trying to set an improvement lap. Here we go, though. Zingy comes out the final corner, and he invalidates. He invalidates. What's it going to be as he crosses the line? Would it have been enough? It would have been a 10th improvement. It would have put them P2. Oh, what a shame there. What a shame. We've got Nifo, both Mercedes, actually. I want to look at Luke and Andrews here. Luke is going to come across the line. Will he be able to have a go at pole position? And it's not gonna be enough. What a small margin. And Andrews crosses the line, puts himself to P3. Absolutely amazing. Nifojan has got to everything to do here for AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri might struggle in qualifying if he can't get up, and he will split the Mercedes. Brilliant work there for Nifojan. Perfect stuff. Eager Pro still not finished the session, but I think that is probably going to be it for them. Into the pit lane they go. PJ, is he going to try and set an improvement lap? That is the Williams of Cohen going across the line. That is their session over. The Alpine will not set another lap time. That is that done. Qualifying is complete. That is Geordie on pole position. Luke in P2. Nifojan taking third on the grid. Very, very, very nice qualifying session we just had there. And some very close margins. And Andrews, Zingy, look at that gap. Absolutely insane. P1 and P2 as well. Very, very close margins. So we've got a nice race on our hands. Race pace, however, it could look very different. And it's going to be very, very important. Even more so, of course. Who has the energy management to be able to defend, overtake even, and the consistency to stay over those curbs, of course, because they're going to be very, very crucial. They'll gain you a lot of lap time, but they are treacherous for sure. We will go and check the results of the qualifying session for the final time, and then we will head over to the race once again, experiencing a bit of lag. It seems to be a common occurrence. Geordie takes pole position, Luke in P2, Nifojan making it a triple Dutch for the qualifying grid. And then we go through the race director just in case we need to. And then we will be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Ready? Hold. Go! Who's gonna get it into turn one? We're finally away as the outside line has to turn on that outside grid position. Will the Mercedes be able to come back at him? I don't know. Nifojan, that's the inside line of the other Mercedes. I don't know what's gonna happen. There's contact, and that is Luke going off the circuit. Another car goes off the circuit. I do not believe it. That's the Alpine, and Geordie gets away well. Nifojan and Zingy bumping themselves up. I don't know what happened to Andrews. They just seem to go wide, but that is another tragic start there for Luke that puts him down the order. I don't really know what happened. They just put themselves on the grass, and then when they tried to come back, unfortunately they made contact, which was a little bit more costly than usual as they dipped a wheel in the grass. And Andrews, as I said, I think he just went wide. Eager Pro trying to somewhat hold position, but they were jumped by Rouleton, who got a phenomenal start. So really well done for them, but that is a car going off. That's JJ down. Cohen also down, making a mistake. Everybody else manages to get through. That's Benjamin with a little bit of a gap. Eager Pro slightly in no man's land at the moment. but a chaotic start. Luckily, however, for Luke and PJ, they're still in this race and battling well. Yuri gets a brilliant start, perfect start for them. Now, they do have Nifajan, who's going to be right behind them. Nifa looks like they got a lot of pace in that car in the straight line, but they're not going to be challenging just yet. They're going to wait for that DRS. That is Rulaton having to go defensive as they have End Andrews. End Andrews is round as Rulaton holds on to the position, loses a lot of time, however, and Eager Pro is going to be very, very close. That is not what we want to see there. Unfortunately, he's back in this still. He's not too far away, so he can still get into this race. Both Mercedes having very, very, very tough starts to this race. And Andrews, once his tyres are slightly cooled down, he'll be good to go. And of course, he likes to start on that medium tyre, so he's going to be pretty quick. And he should be able to make some ground nice and quickly as well. Both Alpines right there. And Andrews taking a quick moment off track, and the other Alpine does go off track. That's Benjamin having to let his teammate through. That Sidewinder now going to want to get through on the Alpine. It's going to go 3 wide into the chicane. Not going to work. There's slight contact. Ben goes off the circuit momentarily. Here we go though. End Andrews looking for the double move as that's Ben to the outside once again, trying to be 3 wide. No, End Andrews is through. Sidewinder has to back out of that one, and that is Benjamin sitting back where they were. But oh, what a loosey-goosey moment on the rear. Anders going to have to use a bit of energy to try and hold on to that one. Ben also had a look, but it wasn't enough. That is Luke PJ just up ahead of them. Rulaton has broken away a bit from Eager Pro. Doesn't matter though, the top 3 are still holding on nicely. Cohen already going into the pit lane, and he's retired unfortunately on lap 3. No safety car will be deployed, but nevertheless, Jordi looking good, but he's got the 2 teammates right behind. And yes, they've had some pretty tough battles with one another this season. Regardless of that, they're not going to want a McLaren to beat them. They will always want to be able to win the race. At least one of the AlphaTauris, of course. So this could be very, very interesting very, very soon. We'll get DRS for the first time on the next lap as well. So this is going to be something to watch. Nifajan will get their first real opportunity to overtake with a nice advantage of that rear wing opening. Into the final few corners we will go. There is the DRS detection line. And this is going to be the moment of truth. Will DRS be powerful, or is it going to be pretty damn useless? A fastest lap there, an 18.5 for Jordi, but it doesn't matter. Here comes Nippo. Got a lot of speed in that car. Goes defensive, does the McLaren, but he's going to be able to take the racing line. Nippo wasn't close enough. Fair enough to them. Brilliant, brilliant job. Zingy losing a bit of time as these two are in their mini DRS train. So it's pretty costly for P3, but he's out! I don't believe it! I do not believe it! That is already out! That's no safety car! Somehow! I don't know what just happened. It's an AlphaTauri 1-2. Oh, no, no, no. No, did that just happen? I do not believe it. Jordi is out of this race on lap 4. DRS was just available and it was about to get very interesting. It doesn't matter. That is that done. That is a nasty crash. That is a really, really nasty crash. Now, Eager Pro has been passed by Luke. Luke is on a run at the moment. He's going to want to hunt down that Ferrari as well pretty quick here. At Imola. They did qualify P2 after all. We got End Andrews who wants to look at PJ. They couldn't get past PJ earlier on. And there's... Oh, no, that was Benjamin actually. Now they are past Benjamin and they're looking at PJ. They're really, really close. Despite the DRS being available for PJ, he's going to get a lovely run. Is Eager Pro going to also challenge the Mercedes? No, they're going to have to wait. That's End Andrews making progress. He's going to want to try and get to his teammate sooner rather than later. Although they will be able to cooperate. They are both in silver cars. You know, you have a bit of mutual respect between the same car, of course. Oh, PJ having a quick look to the inside just to put the pressure on. Nothing was to be done. But that is that situation. And Andrews, however, is looking to the inside. Igapro on the outside line. He goes off the circuit. There's contact. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Unfortunately, I don't think anything was really at fault there. I think that was just a bit of a racing incident. That was Igapro having to take it to the curb, and he lost the car as he tried to keep it hanging around the outside. It's not going to work. Once again, loosey-goosey on the rear for End Andrews, and he's going to have to use a bit of energy to defend from the Alpine behind. So they've passed one car, but they really, really need to keep pushing. They can't afford to make mistakes with the likes of Luke in front of them. They're on that medium tyre as well, so they have to make sure that they make use of that. PJ's going to be right there. Would he go for a move, though? That is the question. I don't think he will. No, he has a look to the inside, but just to spot his braking point, maybe. That's going to be that situation sorted for the time being. He has to make sure that he gets that gap enough for a DRS situation. In the meantime, Zingy and Nifojan have switched positions. Nifo didn't have DRS, so there was no DRS train for Zingy to worry about. He could focus on just catching back up and then executing the move, of course. So lap 6 out of 32, we've seen a switch of the race leaders. I will apologize for the glitching that's going on right now. It seems to be something that happens only at certain tracks. No idea what's happening, and that is a spin there for Zingy. I do not believe it. Rouleton is going to have a look at maybe making a move here. They're not going to get it right now, but they might get DRS. That's Nifojan 2.8 seconds ahead. Lost the car on the exit of the chicane. What a shame. Rouleton, DRS available. Is he going to use any ERS, or is he just going to sit behind that AlphaTauri? Doesn't look like he's going to push for anything here. And Andrews, he's got his teammate right behind, and Andrews has got that DRS naturally quick in a straight line anyway. So the two Mercedes are nice and close, almost like rooks, just locked in behind each other, waiting to pounce. Their aim is to catch up to the cars ahead. And with Zingy making that mistake and Rouleton being in between, they might be able to nab a bit of a DRS train here if Rouleton can stay close. That's going to be something to look into for sure. That is Benjamin going into the pit lane already. A 5-second time penalty, unfortunately for him. Is what it is for now. Maybe something will change later on and they can get back into this. But Luke and Andrews on the hunt. Can they get to Rouleton within the next few laps? That is the question. We've got PJ, who is a little bit further behind these two. Sidewinder on his own as well as Igapro, who had that spin a bit earlier on. JJ not too far away from Igapro, but they have got a little bit of work to do if they do want to get there. Now, Rouleton stays in Zingy's DRS range. Zingy catches up a little bit to Nifo, and then Rouleton and then Luke, the difference just changed on the exit there. Rouleton managed to stay within DRS range, but I think they made a mistake on the final corner, which does mean that Luke is now going to be right there, and that is going to be very, very slim for Rouleton to catch up and get DRS. Oh no! Zingy has made another mistake, and that is now Rouleton once again close. But no! Is there damage? Is there damage to their car? No, I don't know. They're just into the gravel. They're trying to hold on to anything they possibly can. But on the outside line, that is End Andrews making the move. More mistakes there for Zingy. Rouleton gets that P2 position, and Nifojan is 4 seconds in the lead of this Grand Prix on lap 8 out of the 32. Luke sits in P2 with a clear attempt at a DRS overtake, but Zingy is looking at a move already on End Andrews. End Andrews decides he's just going to let him go. It's not worth it, you know. He's just going to sit there, let him go, because if he can hold on to the DRS train, that would be much more beneficial. He does want to help his teammate out, but he doesn't want to lose that himself either, especially this early into the race. It's really not worth the fight, but Zingy's looking quick. Despite making these mistakes, he's so quick. He just can't quite find the momentum. Now, Rouleton is very, very far away at the moment. He got a brilliant final few corners. It's not going to be enough for him to be able to catch up too much, and is pretty slippery in the corners, to be honest. Zingy caught up a little bit into the final few corners and then maintained the gap with the Mercedes there. So that's going to be something to watch out, and unfortunately that is End Andrews spinning off in the background. He's going to lose a couple positions and he might have to try and get back into this later on. After a spin earlier on this race, it's just kind of been a bit of a domino effect. The tyres just got more worn out quicker and the rears were pretty treacherous. They are around this circuit. It is a very, very rear dependent track. Looking close. Not close enough. A slight wiggle as Luke spots their braking point. He's very quick. He's so quick into that chicane. But Zingy is already challenging for the move. He knows that if he can get a move done here, he'll still get DRS. He does a fakie, sends it to the inside. There's a bit of contact, just wheel banging between the two. Luke is struggling on the outside line there as he has to use everything on the inside. He now gets a very good run. Zingy can't fight with the ERS. Luke is going to maintain that position, but he won't be able to get a move on Rouleton as what he ever so wanted on this lap, as he tried to set it up, but it's just been undone. Zingy is so close, but he's used all the energy to try and get there, and it's not going to work out. What a shame there for Luke, but brilliant fighting here for Zingy. He's just trying to get through. He knows Luke is dangerous. Rouleton, he's very quick right now. He wasn't quite there in qualifying, but he's getting it together in the race. So could we see Rouleton hold on to these positions? If he did manage to hold on until the end of the race, that would be absolutely insane. A defensive masterclass, you could say. But Nifajan, 5.3 seconds ahead at this point, doing a very good job. Rouleton now has a lot more pressure. Zingy used all of his energy there, and it wasn't enough to go for a move, as Luke just had some more. He used it in a better position on that start-finish straight. Luke's going to get a second opportunity at going for a move on Rouleton, and this time he's not hindered by another car. There he goes. That's going to be the move done. Is Zingy going to try and challenge? He can't challenge it. That is a switcheroo of this battle going on, but a mistake there for Rouleton. That is going to lose them this battle. Zingy will take the position, but can he hold on to DRS? He's got a few corners to try and close the gap to get that DRS, but he doesn't have much energy. So this could be an interesting situation. He seems to have got some back on that last lap, so he might be good to go. But Luke is in a pretty good situation at this point in the race. Rouleton drops back quite a bit of time, but PJ is still fairly far behind them. PJ, talking about them, they do have End Andrews, who's trying to slowly make their way back, but lap 11 out of 32, those medium tyres, they're going to last a fair bit longer, but they will only get slower, so he's got some work to do himself, and it's not going to exactly be easy. Alrighty. This is how it's looking for now. Zingy did manage to get that DRS and maintain it, and they actually managed to close the gap down about a tenth on that last lap. DRS with nothing ahead for Luke. He's going to be able to close in a little bit, but with no energy to really spare, can't really challenge for a move, and that might not be a bad idea. Nifo is 5.2 seconds ahead. They have closed that from 5.3 to now 5.1. So they're pretty quick, although Nifo, with having that kind of gap, they don't need to push, and they can also play around with the strategy. They have control. They're in charge of this race. When they pit, is going to cause the rest of the grid to come back, of course. Alrighty. Alrighty indeed. Zingy sat in P3 position right now. P2 in this battle. That is PJ and End Andrews switching positions already. So a very lovely job there for End Andrews. PJ, would he want to try and come back at him? I don't quite know. He might want to have a go. P5 for this situation right now. Is Zingy going to be challenging for a move at this stage of the race? Nope, he will not be. So we will stay on board here with this battle. PJ will not have enough energy to deploy. He will not be able to catch up to the cars ahead. And Andrews now making that position and effectively securing it, as we know he's very good in the straight line. He has Ruleton to try and catch up. 1.4 seconds is the gap that splits these two. So not too far away, Ruleton. He's still got to get that DRS range to try and make a slightly easier overtake. And then he'll be back into that P4 position, but he will be 4 or 5 seconds behind the leaders where he was originally. I say 4 or 5 seconds. He's actually going to be about 9-10 seconds behind the leader of the race. Lap 13 out of 32. Pit stops will be coming within the next few laps. And Andrew's got a little bit more time to gain, but Ruleton looking fairly quick. I thought they were quicker in the straights and not so quick in the corners, but they're a lot quicker than Andrews. And Andrews has got a very, very twitchy rear end, it seems, at the Imola circuit. Here we go. Zingy, nice and close. He's used the last few laps to save a bit of energy. Is he going to be close enough to challenge for a move? Not yet. He's just going to have to wait. But he got a very nice run on the DRS, so a good job for him for now. Nothing he can really do too much at this stage. Sat here behind, looking like he's in a nice position. Lovely, lovely stuff. But lap 14 out of 32, as these guys spend more time behind each other, they won't be able to catch up. Now, we don't know how quick Zingy's going to be in clean air if he can get in front of Luke. But at the moment, Nifo has managed to extend the gap a little bit. Now, could that be a sign of him trying to go for an undercut? Is he going to try and push the car now, sooner rather than later, and then look for a pit stop? Or has Luke just made a few mistakes? Is he focusing on defending Zingy? That is something that you do have to recognize in the F1 game. Sometimes it does slow you down as you have to try and focus all your energy on the car behind rather than catching the car ahead. However, between these two guys, they are, I guess you could say, working together, so it's not the worst situation for them at the moment. Ruleton, I didn't realise, did they make a pit stop? Did both Andrews and Ruleton make a pit stop? They must have. They must have. Yes, they have. So that is them through, and PJ also taking it to the pit lane. They both started, or all of them started, on that medium tyre. That is a yellow there for EagerPro, who unfortunately makes a slight mistake. He's still in this race, but he's going to have to get that car turned around and rejoin the track as safe as possible. But that is the pit stops done there for the medium tyre runners on lap 14, around about 13 to 15, I guess you could say, for that medium tyre. We're going to say lap... Never mind, I'm just going to not. Maybe 18. For the hard tyre, you could probably undercut a little bit harder if you really wanted to. And for the likes of Luke and Zingy, I think they are going to be looking for an undercut, whereas Nifferjan, with a 5.8 second gap, might want to go for an overcut because he's got some time to play with. He can go a lap, maybe 2 laps even, over. Although it is Imola, there's quite a few corners. You don't want to leave it too late because it's going to be quite easy for a fresher set of tyres to catch up. And it's so difficult to drive the car on cold tyres around the circuit of this nature. Now, these two not being able to do any overtaking manoeuvres with one another, and Andrews going for that fastest lap. He is on those fresher tyres and hunting down Ruleton. It looks like he's going to get that DRS this lap, and he might be able to go for an overtake on the next lap if he can really get the next few corners right and size up the move. That's what it's about at Imola. You have to use the entire lap to try and set up a move, and you've got one opportunity to really get it done. That's JJ retiring from the race. That pulls out a safety car. Nifo is going to have to react here. They go into the pit lane, and that was so close. Any later, and that would have been Nifo past the pit lane and losing a lot of time. Crucial stuff right there. Crucial stuff. Nifo stays here, goes into the pit lane. Zingy will have the gap to react. They can double stack here. Watch this. Watch this. Is the double stack going to be good? It's not ideal, but it's good enough. It's good enough, and they should be able to pretty easily maintain that P3 unless somebody's going to stay out. Now, what a shame for Rillaton and Andrews. Now, Sidewinder has benefited from this very nicely. They're on that medium tyre. Absolutely incredible timing for that hard tyre to start, of course. So, yeah, what a shame there for JJ. Both Eager Pro and him going off at the same corner, but not as lucky as Eager Pro to stay in this race. PJ, is he going to want to now go to that medium tyre? Pretty much everybody can go now for a set of fresh medium tyres. He is going to go for that medium tyre, because what we have is no one being at the risk of getting lapped, and an easy way to the end of this race on that medium. Nifo's going to be furious. Let's just state the obvious here. He's going to be absolutely furious with this. All that work that he did to get that gap and have a nicer, flexible pit stop window is now completely gone. Yes, he's made the pit stop and he still leads this race, but he's now got two cars very close behind him who are going to be trying to challenge. So this is exactly what Nifo did not want, but it's what's happened. Once again, Nifo getting some really bad luck this season, but with the grid as it was, I'm honestly surprised that we didn't have a safety car with Geordie's crash. The bigger the grid, the more likely we have a safety car is what I mean. No disrespect there. Geordie was very quick, and I really hope we can see him do well next weekend, of course, at France, which will be a sprint race, by the way. So that's going to be an interesting for sure. Nifo, very strong track for him, so that's going to be exciting. We'll be going racing probably by the end of this lap, so lap 19 out of 32. We've got a couple cars to try and catch up. They should be able to catch up. Looks like PJ's maybe got a Delta to try and get on. Other than that, he'll be good to go. But yeah, you've got a long straight, couple more straights to go through. You're much faster than a GT car. And actually, what I found out recently, by the way, a bit of a fun fact here. The Aston Martin and the Mercedes safety cars, they're actually different pace. I believe the Aston Martin, if I've been told correctly, is slower than the Mercedes. Does it really affect things? I've never really noticed it, to be honest. The safety car's the safety car. It would be a very marginal difference. Now, PJ's gone into the pit lane again to put on a fresh set of mediums, maybe a set of hards. Looks like he's gone on for a set of hards, interestingly. Maybe he had a spin on his outlap, I'm not quite sure. But we'll be going racing on lap 20 instead, because the pack won't be close enough. If we do go in, we'll probably see it a little bit after the chicane. But the chances of that happening is so slim, because PJ is not close enough. He's about just over a sector away, so it wouldn't be close enough for the safety car to go in. That means Nifojan will stay ahead a little bit longer. Now you can look at this two ways. He has one less lap to break away from the grid, but he also has one less lap to have to try and defend from the cars behind, which is always a plus. So not too bad. He can spend a bit more time relaxing, a bit more time managing the fuel, trying to burn it off before you go for the restart, which is always useful, especially around a circuit like this. which is very, very dependent on a nice, lightweight, maneuverable car, especially in that first and middle sector, of course. But yeah, you can look at it in a negative way, you can look at it in a positive way. That is PJ going back into the pit lane, it seems, for another set of hards. Does he not have a set of mediums available? He goes for another... No, there you go. There you go. Does go for a set of mediums. I thought he was going to put a 3-lap-old set of hards on, but actually, you only get one set of hards, so my bad there. I'm being a little bit dim. The problem is, we've been out under safety car conditions for a while, so we might actually end up going in anyway. PJ's a little bit closer than they were, so that's always a benefit, but we could be going back into the pit lane anyway if we're not careful. I say they're a bit closer, they're actually pretty much exactly the same where they were. But yes, the safety car could go in, which means everybody will be pretty slow, so it'll catch up nicely, but not enough. The safety car is going to go in. Luckily for PJ, he got an early call, so he's going to be able to catch up quite nicely here. If it was a late call, it would be a bit more difficult. Now, Nifo is going to be the one to lead the way. Luke is going to be the one to react. They're going to be warming up those tyres nice and aggressively. Once that safety car gets into the pit lane, then they will be able to restart. PJ trying his best to catch up, but after making all those pit stops, it's so real Now, here we go. Nifo can go at any moment. He's gone for it already. Brilliant stuff there for Nifo. And Luke reacted fairly nicely, to be honest. It wasn't bad. Zingy is right there. Sidewinder, a bit of a gap. Would Zingy want to challenge Luke immediately? Is he going to try and help his teammate out here? I don't quite know. No, it's not worth it. Everybody's going to be using ERS. They've all got full batteries, but Ruleton here going defensive for End Andrews. That's going to compromise their line. Here we go. The exit could be superior. And no, it's not going to be enough. He loses the car once again. Twitchy there for End Andrews, and he'll lose that run. Would he get a good enough run into the hairpin? No, way too far back. Very, very nice effort, but just one little mistake was enough to cost him all that effort. PJ is 10 seconds behind, unfortunately, after that restart. Hopefully they can get back to this one, but yeah, that is a tough situation to be in, unfortunately. And that is a brilliant start there for Nifo. He's got 8 tenths on Luke here, but Zingy is right behind and putting that pressure on the Mercedes. So really interesting situation. Purple middle sector there for Zingy. Sidewinder, he's got a lot of pressure behind. Ruleton's right there. Ruleton's getting pressured by End Andrews, so he's going to want to make the move even more than ever. Which will make it so tough. But Ruleton goes and gets himself a 3-second. Lots of people extending that part of the circuit, and unfortunately he's ended up getting himself a time penalty, and that is Ruleton making a move. There's a bit of a split between Zingy and Luke, so there was no overtake there, and that is End Andrews going for the double overtake. Has the inside line a lot further this time. Takes the outside line. He is ahead as we go through Tamburello, as that is Ruleton making a mistake, losing 2 positions. What a good effort, but unfortunately he couldn't keep it on the circuit. End Andrews, what a move. So tight, but he makes it work. Wow, that is pretty crazy to say the least. Once that gravels off that car, he can get back into this race. But yeah, so sad to see him down the order, but still, brilliant racing there. Once again, Nifo's at 8/10 gap. He seems to be pretty good in the middle sector of the lap, of course. Luke managed to get that gap to a 6/10 gap on the straight, whereas Nifo manages to extend it once again. Zingy, not as close as he was last lap, only a 10th difference, to be honest. So he's still going to be there. The top 3 on another level, as they managed to gap everybody by around about 3 seconds already, just on 2 laps of running. DRS will be available on the next lap pretty much, but it doesn't matter for Zingy. He's going to make that move already on Luke. And meanwhile, Nifo is escaping. So Luke's maybe thinking of the bigger picture here, as they are going to try and let Zingy slingshot in front and then try and catch up to Nifo, because Nifo is now 1.3 seconds ahead. They got a lot of work to do. Nifo is absolutely dominant right here. 1.2 seconds though. That slingshot did seem to work quite nicely. We'll have to see how it goes later on. And Andrews is on his own a little bit now, so Sidewinder makes a mistake, and that is that position gained for him. Egapro also making a position, so this safety car has really helped him. Got back into this race even after a spin, so well done to stay into this race. Many drivers would have just given up after a spin. The domino effect would have got to them, the mentality would have dropped, but not Egapro. He's still in this one and going strong. 10 points currently on the board for him, which is very, very nice for him to work with, of course. Zingy trying to get that DRS range on Nifo, but it's not going to work this lap. He's going to have to wait, and that will be that done. Luke almost losing DRS, actually, to Zingy, so they're in a bit of trouble. They've got to be very, very careful. Sidewinder will hold on to DRS of Egapro. That's going to make it pretty much impossible there for a move to be made on Sidewinder for Rillaton, of course. Luke and Zingy, they're doing a good job here. That was the right call for Luke to let Zingy go, because now, although Luke had a bit of a close call, he caught back up on the DRS, and since Zingy has managed to get that gap a little bit closer, about 3/10 closer than last lap, still very marginal, and once again the middle sector is strong for Nifojan, so it could be a bit difficult, but that was a send and a half there for Zingy into turn 9 and 10, so looking pretty feisty, trying his best to get that DRS, half a tenth in it pretty much, needs a little bit more, has to secure a good chicane, and he does do so. It looked very tidy for Nifo, but very aggressive for Zingy, and it paid off. So brilliant job there. DRS will be available for him, and that is going to give Nifo a bit of a hard time. It's going to be about 9 laps of this race remaining when we cross the line. So the laps are counting down. It's not long to go. In the meantime, End Andrews is there. If these guys battle a little bit too hard, he's going to be right there gunning for it as well. Of course, Luke is a little bit ahead in the championship, of course. They do have some points. They had some bad luck as well, but they do at least have some points. So, and Andrew's going to have to consider that. They are a permanent driver, and they do want to try and be in the championship fight, even after joining a little bit late. They've already scored a P2. They are really far into this anyway, as they scored those points as a reserve driver. They don't go to the Mercedes or team, but he still has them for his championship. And now will score points for the Mercedes team. Zingy and Nifo now, half a second between them. Zingy has done a very good job to get back to this after a very, very troublesome start to the race there. Rear was very, very twitchy, but now on that medium tyre, Zingy has a little bit more grip than he had before, and that helps him. Seems like a 2.4 second gap is what End Andrews is glued to right now. Can't really catch too much, and he's going to lose a lot of time on the DRS straight as they're in a nice train. Now, Nifo, he's a little bit too far ahead to be challenged, so Zingy's not going to be able to do anything here. And with Luke being fairly close behind, they've got to be careful. I say that. Once again, double DRS around this circuit doesn't seem to be very, very good, does it? It seems to really make it difficult, because even though you should be equaling the pace, you know, it just makes it like you're kind of running a straight line setup, or just a straight up setup, no DRS effectively, which maybe shows that Zingy's pretty quick in a straight line compared to Luke, unless it is just something that happens. That is Nifo leading the way though, still by half a second. Luke is likely to catch up a little bit more time into the corners, because obviously dirty air does affect things. That is a yellow, unfortunately, as that is PJ making a mistake. Still looking for points here, P8 as it stands. They can still score something towards their championship, despite a very, very tough race. The start of their race was a very, very good effort to stay in it, because they had a off moment on the opening lap. They got back into it and they were looking for good points, but unfortunately later on in this race it's not quite going as well. Luke loses a little bit of time, but not really enough. Now Zingy's a tenth closer, but 1/1025. He gets a little bit closer, he might have a run, He also needs to manage the ERS. He has enough energy to go for a move. Lap 26 out of 32. It's getting very, very intense. My heart's starting to get a little bit faster as we are coming to the closing stages of this race. An iconic track. Very, very, very technical to get your head around. It can be pretty sweaty as well. That is unfortunately a retirement for PJ on the exit of the penultimate corner. And that's right in front of the pit entry. So I'm surprised that's not a safety car, because usually you would get a safety car for that kind of stuff. But no, it's not going to happen. Luke was looking like he might have lost DRS then, but he manages to hold it just about as he gets a pretty good section of corners. Turn 13 and 14 is also even better for him, so 6/10 now, looking pretty good. Zingy has managed to get that 1/10 closer, as I said on the last lap, so this is going to be a chance to maybe go for a move. DRS available. Is he going to now challenge for it? Is he going to go for it? No. He's going to wait a little bit more. He wants another 10th. He wants another 10th on this. Another 10th is what it's going to take to tempt Zingy into making this move. He can't find a way through now. In the meantime, with this DRS train, and Andrews just lost 2/10. It's not much, but it's so, so annoying. Boy, indeed. Alrighty. Lap 27 of 37, we're running out of laps in this race. It's gonna go down to the very, very final moments. Zingy is sat there right behind. Does Nifo have more in the tank? Does Zingy have more in the tank? It looks like they're just kind of waiting, being very patient, and then they're gonna wait to pounce. They've got to make sure that they use their attacks wisely. That energy, how much have you got of it? When are you gonna use it? Do you have a good enough setup to be able to challenge here? We don't know what both drivers are running. We'll only be able to see it once we see it on track. And yeah, it is what it is. 6/10 is the gap between Zingy and Nivo. So Zingy did a great job on the last 2 laps, but this lap slightly off and he wasn't able to catch. Actually loses a 10th on the start-finish straight. Gains back 2 though. So obviously the DRS is working, but Nifo seems to maybe have picked up the pace, unless it was just a pretty good lap from him. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. 6/10 is seemingly a nice gap for Nifo. I think 5/10 would be enough as well. It might get a little bit tight. But yeah, I think 6/10 is enough of a gap around this circuit with the current situation that we have for both drivers to be able to, or no, not for both drivers, for Nifo to be able to defend from the car behind. Luke is stuck in no man's land. He's pretty much in stalemate. He can't do anything. He's got DRS, but it's useless because as soon as he gets onto that straight, he'll catch up to the leader, but he won't catch up to Zingy. So it's impossible for him to be able to size up a move. He catches nicely through the rest of the circuit, of course, as he doesn't have as much dirty air by being a little bit further behind. Zingy once again 6/10 behind. Let's watch on board, see what I mean as I try and prove my point. He catches up by 4/10, maybe even 5/10 would actually be enough for Nifo to defend, of course. Lap 29 out of 32. We really don't have long of this race to go. About 4.5 laps, I think. Is that right? 9, 12? No, it's not at all. It's 3.5 laps, I think. Is that right? No, it's 4.5. I need to just stop. Just focus on the race. That is a yellow, unfortunately, for End Andrews. He's pushing his hardest to try and catch up to the leaders, but he's ended up getting challenged by Egapro. Egapro, is he going to send it to the inside? He's not. He's a little bit cleverer than that. He's going to sit and wait behind for now, but he's going to get DRS. And as he hasn't had any cars ahead of him, he's been able to save a lot of ERS, so he might be good to go. Zingy catches up nicely here to Nifojan. Nifojan could be in trouble here. That is a 2/10 gap, which is extremely dangerous. Watch this. Zingy surely going to use the ERS. This is his chance. This is his best chance. DRS available. and that position is pretty much gone for now. He's got a couple laps to go, and then he will have a chance at getting back that lead. But Zingy has made that work. That subtle mistake there. Only 2 tenths lost, but it's enough to lose you the lead of the Grand Prix. Egapro, in the meantime, made the move on End Andrews. End Andrews not close enough to get that move back. So he's also got a bit of a job to do at the moment. All Nifo has to do at this stage is not make any more mistakes, because then he'll be able to challenge Zingy again, and he won't lose anything to Luke. Got to be so careful here. Got to be so careful. Nifo's been leading the way all the time. They've got the pace to win this race. They know it. They have everything in their hands at the moment, except from track position, which is in the hands of Zingy. So he's got pretty much everything to lose. Nifo has got a little bit to gain here, and they are going to want it. It would be great to see them finally get a good result from their tough runnings that they've had this season. DRS is available. Are they going to try and go for a move earlier on? No, they're not. They're catching up massively. Look at that straight line speed on Nifo. I think he's quicker than Zingy in a straight line. He's not going to be able to make a move, but I think he might be quicker than Zingy in a straight line, and that was scary stuff to see. That 31 out of 32, he's got one more lap to try and make a move, which will be the next lap. Zingy's not flashing on the ERS, so it's not going to be easy. It's really not going to be easy with both cars in that situation. 2 tenths is the gap that splits them, however. Luke, just watching this battle, they're pretty much hopeless. They can't really do anything about it. With one overtaking opportunity available, it doesn't really slow them down that much. They don't battle side by side so often. Now, Zingy leads the way as we will head on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Nifo has one final opportunity. What is going to happen? History is going to be in the making. Nifojan right behind here. DRS will be available for the final time. He's got to gun it. This is it. Zingy knows it as well. Goes defensive. Goes back to the inside line. Got to be careful that he doesn't move too much. He's flashing on the ERS. Here comes Nifo. Goes to the outside line. Zingy's not going to be able to do it. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Executed to perfection. Nifo leads the Imola Grand Prix on the final lap. Luke is right behind. He can't do anything about it. But Zingy doesn't care. He's just lost the lead of the race. Nifo is running away with it in the meantime. That is End Andrews and Egapro also switching around. A brilliant job there for End Andrews as he tries to make that move work. He does make that move work. Both flashing on the ERS for both AlphaTauris, but look at the pace in that car. Look at the pace in that middle sector. He is dominant. Luke is trying to get in on this, but no, his flashing light is also there on the back of his car. It's looking like it's gonna be decided right here. Nifojan has got the final few corners to go, and they will finally break the curse of the bad races. Nifo comes around the final few corners, and they will win. I don't know. They make a mistake, but it's not enough. Absolutely phenomenal. Nifo wins the Imola Grand Prix. Zingy will take a P2, and Luke will have that P3 in the end. And Andrews will manage to jump Egapro. Brilliant job from both of these two at the very end of this race. And that is going to be Sidewinder in P6 and Ruleton looking for a fastest lap. Very exciting race, especially at the end. I thought Nifo almost lost it then. So scary to see as they were very loosey-goosey. But it didn't matter anyway. They did a great job. Very well done. Yeah, that is the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix won by Nifojan. Another AlphaTauri 1-2. This time, the man in the yellow helmet has managed to make it work. Ruleton going for that fastest lap. There he is. It's all yellow. He's got it done. He has got it done, despite it looking very difficult with that safety car not being in his favour. He's done a great job. Zingy getting a very, very well-deserved driver of the day. Brilliant recovery from him. Just waiting for the results, and then we'll be good to go. Nifojan stands on the top step of the podium for the first time this season. What a way to win. Nifo wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Zingy in P2. Then we got Luke and Andrews, Eager Pro, Sidewinder and Ruleton finishing off the grid. DNFing was PJ, JJ, Benjamin, Yordi and Cohen in P12. Fastest lap went to Zingy as well. Now we look through the race director just in case we need to, because we might need to. But yeah, that is the race done. And we will be back for the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI F1 Championship. We're today for the post-race interviews of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. That was a pretty intense one of the best races we've had this season. Absolutely incredible. Nifajan, you take your first win of the season, break the curse, and manage to stay ahead after the heat of the safety car. Can you take us through that race?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of my best weekends. To be fair, I mean weekends if you say it's one race, but one race weekend. I think quali, it went up and down. I think my first lap was quite good. Second lap was a lot to improve on, and then the third lap I was up almost 2 tenths, and then I lost it in Aqua Minerale and lost all of it, and then I gained a tenth again in the chicane and the last two corners. Which was like, it was good, but it could have been better, so I got P3 in the end. Then for lap 1, I mean, the incident with Luke and Viper happened, so I was up into P2, following Viper very closely, or Jordy, I have to think. Jordy, I was following Jordy very closely, and yeah, and then he made a mistake, probably because of pedal issues, as I've heard. And then for me, I was just driving into the sunset with Zingy behind me, and Zingy overtook me, made a mistake, and then I was really off into the sunset 5 seconds, 6 seconds. And from that point on, I was just cruising, just no pressure, because you know what happened last weekend. So I was like, all right, just keep it clean and just drive. And then the safety car happened, which wasn't the best for me, but it happened just before before the straight, so I could instantly jump into pits, which was good. And from there on, it was a very intense battle overall. Tried to keep Zingy behind, let him pass, and then tactically overtake him on the last lap again. I must say, I'm shaken. It was a very good race and very close battling. So, yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, definitely helps when you win as well. That was a very, very well played race, and it's ironic that as soon as you're in the lead, we get our first safety car. Like, you know, the first few races, we never really have too many safety cars as soon as you're there. Yeah, but yeah, really well done and very well executed. France is the next circuit. You're very good there. And announcement, it is a sprint race. Do you think you can do well there? You're looking forward to it? Not going to be here.
You know,
I'll miss the race. Miss one of your best tracks.
Okay, well, we'll assume I'm there, and then I'll be very happy because I like France. And
let's just say, do you like the circuit?
I like the circuit. I think it's very good for me, although some find it very boring. I find an amazing track to drive on. Maybe to watch is a different story. And I had some good races there, so I'll hope to repeat that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I am shaking.
Thank you very much for seeing it. Well done today.
Thank you.
We move on to his teammate, Zingy. That was a very, very good effort, a very good recovery. Very, very twitchy at the start, but managed to maybe get a hold of your setup towards the end of the race. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, your pizza might be delayed tonight. I went for the race, and it's more of a learning experience for me more than anything. I thought, I've had this kind of wall, not with my head, but like figuratively, where I can't seem to break past a certain pace. So I thought, why not try something different? And I tried a bit more twitchy setup, which really helped me. I was keeping up with Niffle the whole time, and I was keeping a smooth pace. The only issue really was, it was prone to spinning when my tyres were a bit worn, as you've seen out of the chicane. So apart from that, it was good. And I mean, it's the first time I've probably battled Niffle without technical issues this whole season. So I really enjoyed it, honestly.
Yeah, it was a really, really good race, and honestly, it's one of these things. You have a increase of pace, and then you have a consistency phase. I think you've been in the consistency phase for so long, so maybe it's now time to get to the increase of pace, and then you'll, I think that's the how it goes sometimes. So don't be disheartened at all. You're still very, very quick. Really, really well done today. Great effort. Thank you very much for some awesome battles. France, next circuit, sprint race. You gonna like that one?
Well, France, I didn't really like it because some of the corners were understeery. However, with my new twitchy setup, I I might be able to do something. Maybe able to, like, not like get dropped by Niffle for once. And around
Fair
that,
enough.
he's so good around that track. It's a joke.
And sprint race, is that something that suits you?
Depending on the track, really. This is a chance for Niffle to really close up in the championship around France. So I think I need to keep my socks firmly on and push on, and hopefully, for my sake, just maybe get a bit lucky, just like I did with the safety car today. So a bit of luck and a good bit of practice, and I should be able to retain my lead.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I'm also shaking.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. 2 shivering AlphaTauris, and now we go to Yordi Yordi. Debut, very, very quick in qualifying. Amazing, amazing pace. Didn't quite go to plan in the end. Technical issue, right?
Yeah, technical issue. So I have Fanatec pedals, and they were pretty worn actually. So they decided to broke off at a league race. So you know the answer.
Yeah.
Spring breaks off. You were going full throttle instantly, wheel spin, and then right into the wall. So it would have been a pretty fun race. Could have been a 4-way battle for P1, which I would have wished for, but
Yeah.
didn't go that way. But they've got an interesting fight, as
Yeah.
I saw on the stream. So I'm proud of them. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It was really good. I was going to say, it was a really interesting crash to happen, so that explains what happened there. So, such a shame. But you showed the pace, and you showed that you're going to be very competitive, so it's great to see you. And I hope we can have some very, very good races in the future. Looking onwards to France, is that a circuit that you like?
Well, I don't have any practice on France, but I used to be very good at F121 on there. So I'll try to get some practice in there, and if not, I'll just try to make a fight for the AlphaTauris, of course, and for the Mercedes guys. So I'll just at least try to be competitive, I guess.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And it's a sprint race, so you'll have a sprint race to get to grips with things and the other cars on track, and then you can really focus on the feature race. So sprint race weekend is going to be pretty valuable in that case. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words if you can?
Time trial, try hard. Skill issue. Fanatec is cheap. That's yeah. I'll stay like that. I'll just.
Fair enough.
that's fine.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you
And
for
we move on to Rouleton, I think. Is Rouleton wanting an interview, or is Rouleton not wanting an interview?
Oh, I don't know. My race was shit. I don't know.
Fair enough. Do you want to just...
I've taken some people out on my journey as well, but that doesn't really matter.
It's one of those races.
People die. People die.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it's called natural selection.
Fair enough. Do you like France more than Imola? Which one do you prefer?
Oh, I'm doing an interview.
Yeah, you are.
I did not agree to this. I'm gonna have to report you.
Okay. Shall we just end it then?
No,
Describe your race in
okay,
3
France.
words?
Yeah, France. I like France.
You
I've
like
been
France?
to France.
Fair enough. And can
Oui,
you
oui.
describe your race in 3 words?
Ah,
How many people did you take out?
I've lost count.
Okay. I
Yeah.
lost count. That's 3 words. Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Alright, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow for the F1.5 EU Championship. We'll see you next weekend for the French Grand Prix, which will be the first race of the season for a sprint race. Thank you very much once again, and good night. Bye-bye.